prayed for my downfall and I found a way to reconcile. Cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where some go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh, do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I decided to say I'm sorry, so lie.
Hello,
Pretend that
everybody.
you're okay.
I just want this image to sink in for a minute.
Keep trying for one day. I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to
Hi,
hide.
Ellie.
Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many
Hi,
things to
Nikki.
criticize. And so I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie.
All right, so Ellie's putting her paw down my shirt. Okay, so anyway, can you be quiet? Can you be a good girl while we do this? Okay. So I asked a couple days on the community tab on the channel, you guys. You know, what are you most afraid of? And here's the question. In today's world, what are you most afraid of? For me, it's my basic civil rights. Always has been, always will be. And it's the basic civil rights of all Americans, okay? So, my rights of bodily autonomy and my freedoms are being stripped from me by people who think that their religion is the only true religion and that they need to put their religious ideologies onto everybody else. Now, here's the thing: freedom of religion ends at you. Always has been, always will. What you believe in your religion, hi, thank you for the kisses. What you believe in with your religion is your beliefs. You can hold true to them. That's your freedom of religion. It's not freedom from religion, it's your freedom of religion. Okay? So when you have a religion that you want to practice, you are free to practice said religion. But when your religion starts to tell other people how to live their lives, that is where we cross a line. Okay? It is just where we cross a line. And the other thing is I've been thinking about this a lot because I've had the time off, one. But back during the Civil War, we had flags that were the Confederate flag. We had the United States flag and we had the Confederate flag. One united, one divided. Now, back in the late 1920s and 1930s, there was another flag that was flown very proudly. It's the one in the middle. I'm sure you can see that. Now, instead of flags, which there are flags that say Trump, we have the symbol, the MAGA. Instead of Nazi, it's MAGA. Make America Great Again. Here's the thing. I think America is already great. America, I think, is already great. Can we do better? Yes. Should we do better? Yes. What are the things that I think America needs to do better on? One, it needs to protect all humans from religious persecution. That's what our country was founded on. It wasn't founded on Judeo-Christian principles, even though that is a talking point that I hear over and over again. The people fled to this country because they didn't want to be oppressed by the King of England and be told how to live their lives by the Church of England. So they fled to the United States. They fled religious persecution. They fled and they came here and they started their own country and they wrote the Constitution. And I don't know if any of you have ever read the Constitution, but churches only list in the Constitution to have a separation from church and state. God is not mentioned in the Constitution at all. And a little history lesson here. Because I watched this weekend, people at Trump's rallies couldn't even properly cite or, you know, pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, undivided, with individual liberty and justice for all. Now, here's the thing: under God was added to it during the Cold War. That's when, you know, things started to get chipped away at. We put God on the money, we put God in the Pledge of Allegiance. But here's the thing: not everybody believes in God. I know I don't, and I may lose a few hundred subscribers because I'm saying this, but now people are walking around with these hats on their heads and they don't listen to reason. And when they're faced with facts and logic, they write it off and say, well, that's what I was told, and I believe what I was told. Okay, that's your right. You can believe what you're told. But I for one, would rather be on the right side of history here. If you've ever been outside of this country, if you've ever been to uh, any place outside of this country, say in Europe, if you've ever gone to Germany or Amsterdam, I don't know how many of you have ever read the Diary of Anne Frank or been to the annex and seen where they hid. I have. There's another thing that's really interesting about Amsterdam. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I'm gonna Google this real quick. Identify during Nazi. All right, here we go. Let me open this in a new tab. All right, so when you were, I wonder if it will let me zoom in. All right, you had to wear symbols. Jewish star. Some of the stars were different colors. The pink one is because you are a homosexual. Then they had them about gypsies, Jewish immigrants. I wonder if there's one in English that you can read. But yeah, they put these identifiers on people. And we're doing the same thing now. Okay? This isn't a new concept. And the more I hear the people who follow Donald Trump, and I will say this, and I am going to speak out against Donald Trump, the people that follow him blindly. So, inmate of, if you are an inmate caught in war, markings for people who defected, the basic colors: vagrants, homosexuals, Jehovah's Witnesses. All right. So here, black, you're a vagrant. Pink, you're a homosexual. Darker pink, you're a Jehovah's Witness. Blue, you're an immigrant. Habitual criminals, political persecution. Yellow meant you were Jewish. So if you were Jewish, you had a yellow triangle and a political, or you were just fully yellow. Okay? And you had to wear these on your arm as an identifier. Why did they do this? One, to divide and separate us. What is Donald Trump doing now with his MAGA hat? He's dividing and separating us. You know, and the media never really talks about this, but by wearing symbolisms, by professing to an ideology, and the same thing happens with multi-level marketing. People brand themselves as direct sales marketing, or they brand themselves as Arbonne, Monate, Paparazzi, Young Living, doTERRA, you know, the best network marketer in the business. But the thing is by doing this, we're tribalizing ourselves. We're turning ourselves into a team mentality, you know? By asking you guys this, someone said, I worry about what the world would be like for my grandchildren. Will their basic civil rights be protected? That's something I worry about too. I fear for my 3 granddaughters and my grandson who is biracial. Why is the world traveling backwards? Past generations fought like hell to receive basic rights. Yes, we did. We fought like hell to receive the basic civil rights that now we're allowing people who are using the terminology Judeo-Christian beliefs and that we're a Christian nation. They're using Christianity as a weapon. You know, I can spot a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, and I hate people who do religious manipulation. Multi-level marketing companies do it. Politicians are now doing it. And even our Supreme Court is doing it. They're forcing their religious beliefs onto others, stripping us of our freedoms. I mean, now we wear flag pins to identify that we're gay, straight, trans, biracial. We wear pins that say Black Lives Matter, which they do. But by showing our political ideology, we're tribalizing and putting everybody else on a team. Instead of uniting against the one thing that is the most dangerous in this country, which is all of our freedoms, we're dividing ourselves even further. So, you know what's funny? David and I were watching the news, and they were talking about how Taylor Swift the other day encouraged everybody to exercise their right to vote. She didn't tell anybody who to vote for. She just said, vote for the representative that will represent you and what your needs are. And the right-wing news sphere freaked the fuck out. And they showed a clip of her little like Netflix documentary where she was talking to her dad. And she's like, I should have done this years ago and I didn't. But those aren't Tennessee Christian values. And her dad wasn't completely upset with her. He was more concerned for her safety. He was more concerned about her safety than her sharing her political beliefs. He was concerned for her safety. What does that say about us as a country? When you can't stand up and say what you believe in because you're afraid for your safety from people who are wearing that hat. You can't stand up and say what you believe in because you're afraid for your safety. That's where we've come as a country. Instead of saying what we believe in and fighting for everybody's rights, we have to live in fear. Guess what? Life is too short to live in fear. I'm not going to live in fear. And the other thing is I'm not going to wear, a MAGA hat. I'm also not going to wear a pin that says vote blue no matter who, because I don't believe in that. I believe in voting for who's going to represent me and my interests. History is repeating itself, you guys. History is repeating. And if we're not careful, we're going to go down the same road that Germany did, Vienna and Austria, Vienna, and all the other places. We're going to go down the same road that they did. Because we're afraid for our safety, and we're afraid to stand up against the lunatics that follow blindly and believe everything this man says, and they think that Joe Biden is the enemy. Joe Biden hasn't broken any laws. And they keep claiming that he has, but they haven't shown any evidence. But this man has 91 criminal indictments against him. He's already been found guilty of rape and defamation. He's already been found guilty in the state of New York for committing financial fraud. He's going to trial for espionage. You know, they call it the Mar-a-Lago case, but let's talk about what it really is. It's espionage. He stole government secrets, kept them. Who knows how many people he showed them to? Who knows if he sold any of them? Who knows? He's already put our country at risk. It's not the Mar-a-Lago case. It's espionage. And then we've got the case in Georgia, the racketeering case. So he's a mob boss. He's a wannabe dictator like Nazis, like Adolf Hitler. He's a wannabe dictator like Mussolini. And he's not mentally sound. He's a lunatic. And people keep fighting for him blindly and giving him money that he doesn't need to have. You know, and then they complain about how they can't afford groceries. Well, if you would stop spending money on $400 sneakers and NFTs and trading cards and sending him money every month, you would have money for your groceries. You know, I get more and more concerned about how we as a country are continually avoiding the truth of history. The Holocaust happened. I've seen where some of those concentration camps were. I've been to the Holocaust Museum in Nuremberg, Germany. I've stood in the courthouse where the trials were held on the 70th anniversary. You know, I've been to the southern states. I have seen battlegrounds where the Civil War was fought. I have seen people persecuted. In my time, I never thought I would see the day where people standing up or kneeling in Colin Kaepernick's case, kneeling for police brutality to come to an end, and Black lives do matter. My life matters. I'm a woman. I've had a miscarriage. I've had to have DNCs. And now, because of all these laws that are being passed in all these states, if it would have happened now, would I go to jail? Would my life be even more at risk? You know, they keep saying that we need to have more babies. Well, yeah, but you're making it impossible for us to do that. We can't receive health care. Doctors all across this country are telling women, now is not the time to start family planning. Now is not the time to have a child, because if something happens during your pregnancy, you might not be able to get the health care that you need. That's concerning. You know, if you haven't followed the Holocaust Museum on Instagram, they post a different story of a different figure that was either a victim or a perpetrator of that. It's a very educational Instagram. I highly recommend you follow the Holocaust Museum on Instagram. Another person that I follow on Threads is the Lakota Man, and he's the one who fights for Native American rights. You know, I'm a big advocate for everyone to receive equal rights. I'm also, you know, I see the homelessness problem. It's because housing is unaffordable in most major metropolitan cities, and wages haven't kept up with the prices of housing. People are being worked out of homes because of greed, corporate greed. So I just wanted to come on here and get on a soapbox for a second, and this is how I feel. Let's stop tribalizing ourselves. and wearing a symbol of hate. And the thing that really irks me the most about this is the people who are wearing that MAGA hat right now. They don't see the direct correlation between the three. They don't see anything wrong with it. But I do. And when I see that hat, I see this symbol right here. If you're not worried, you should be. So, soapbox over. Life is too short. We need to start standing up for what's right in this country, and we need to stop fighting each other and stop being with the team mentality tribalism. It's got to come to an end. That's food for thought for the day. Thank you so much for being here. Leave your comment down below. Let me know what you think. I would love to have a debate with you all.